Do you know which is the 16th largest country in the world? Or which country holds world's 10th largest oil reserves? Let me tell you. This country is Libya. Libya is a coastal country situated in the northern part of Africa. It has Mediterranean Sea in the north. More than 90% area is a hot arid desert. It has no river, no brook, and not even precipitation. For many decades, Libya has faced corruption, civil war, and turmoil. But before going further ahead, let's dive back into the history of this land. Since Bronze Age, the inhabitant of Libya were the people of Berber tribe. These tribes still lives in distinct part of North Africa. As you can see the image of a Berber tribal village located somewhere in the Atlas mountain range. After Berbers, it was Phoenicians who made Libya their home. Phoenicians are the people who came from the area which is now called as Lebanon and Syria. Phoenicians came from eastern Mediterranean to the west for trading. They intentionally chose west for their settlement because by the time they landed Libya, there were several cities already built by Greeks and Persians. But amongst all these, Romans had the biggest impact on Libya because it was during the Roman Empire when in the year 313, the Edict of Milan was issued by Constantine I and Licinius, after which proclamation was made that permanently established religious tolerance for Christianity within the Roman Empire. But as the time passed away, the dominance of Romans in Europe and other areas was declining, whereas in the Arabian Peninsula, Islam was emerging phenomenally. That eventually led to multiple invasions into the North African region. Ultimately, Islam became the prime religion of Libya and the demographics of Libya were flipped, and today 92% Libyan nationals are of Arabic ethnicity. Libya has a long history of civil war. But apart from that, there is a common serious problem which every North African nation is dealing with. Guess what? Water scarcity. If you will see the map of Libya carefully, you will easily notice that more than 90% area of Libya is an arid desert. There is no natural river and in most parts, no rain since decades. As a result of which, 9 out of 10 people in Libya live above this line. And the sole reason is water availability. Since centuries, the people of Libya lost all their hopes. But 50 years ago, its solution was discovered, according to which a river was to be dug in the middle of Sahara desert. It sounds really fascinating, but at least for once, just try to think how would somebody do that? If you really want to know, just like this video, subscribe our channel and do share it. The area of Libya is 1.76 million square kilometers. It's almost half the area under Indian territory. But even then, the population of Libya is just 7 million, which is barely equivalent to that of Goa. In 1950s, the population was merely 1.2 million, but after gaining independence from Italy in 1951, the financial condition of Libya were really volatile. Libya had a huge dependence on foreign aid and loans from World Bank. But in 1956, the oil was discovered, after which the situations of Libya were completely changed because it was the world's 10th largest oil reserve. The country witnessed an immense population growth and in the next 20 years, it was doubled, after which it grew exponentially. Libya now started exporting oil, because of which in the matter of few years Libya invested heavily on infrastructure, education and health sector. The conditions in Libya were now being stabilized, which transformed Libya from a poor underdeveloped country into a strong, prosperous and industrialized nation. In no time, Libya became the top player of oil export market and wealthiest nation in all African countries. But on one side, their population was increasing rapidly due to economic boom. On the other hand, the availability of water was declining day by day. Even the coastal areas were being deprived of drinking water. To solve this, Libyans had few plans. The first plan was to set up a desalination plant. Using this, the salty water of the Mediterranean Sea could now be converted into soft drinking water. But Libya was not the first country which was thinking it for the first time. Israel, on the other hand, is successfully doing it since 1960s, but it was really cost inefficient. So Libya dodged this plan. The second option was to import water from European countries, but it had a strategic loss for Libya. Doing so would make Libya dependent on Europeans again. Meanwhile, when Libyan government was searching for other means in order to feed their population, some people in the south during oil drilling unexpectedly found a huge aquifer loaded with fresh water, but due to no rainfall from past thousands of years, it was a non-renewable resource. Another problem was that this aquifer was thousands of kilometers away from the residing population, because of which Libya didn't have any road transportation infrastructure deployed in that area. When this aquifer was discovered in 1960s, King Idris I wanted it to use for agricultural purposes. After him, in 1969, Gaddafi took control of Libya in his own hands, and the idea of making an artificial river came into play, which was to be spread all over the nation via pipeline system, which would connect the aquifer of south to the residing population of the north. The Great Man-Made River project started in the year 1984. It was not an easy task, as Libyans would have to scrape Sahara deep and make river out of it. But the river that Libyans were talking about was nothing close to what we see in our surroundings. This river was a complete network of underground pipelines, so that the water wastage and evaporation both could be avoided. A total of 1300 wells were drilled to extract water from the Nubian aquifer system with an average depth of half kilometers. This system in today's time provides 2.5 cubic kilometers of water annually. The cost of the entire project was $25 billion. The Great Man-Made River project was divided into 5 phases, and this all was done without any financial support from any other country. In the first phase, the focus was to join Kufr Aquifer to the residing population of Benghazi and Sirte and provide them with its drinking water. A lot of you out there would be thinking that where did the water came from in the middle of a desert? It's really simple to understand. Earth has 2 types of movements. One is rotation and the other is revolution. Along with it, the Earth also shifts its axis to a certain degree in a long period of time. Actually, 10,000 years ago, according to the Earth's position at that time, this area of Africa, which you see as a desert, was covered with huge dense forests and witnessed routine precipitations. So, the water which was showered 10,000 years ago got settled down under the desert and now can be extracted and used by us. But the harsh part is that because of no rain since thousands of years, this water is a non-renewable resource. And if we specifically talk about Nubian water aquifer system, it's world's largest fossil water system with an area of 2.6 million kilometers squares. Let's talk about phase 1. It was the biggest phase. So big that in order to complete this only, 250,000 concrete pipe sections were used. Yes, the pipe used in this project was made using concrete with a radius of 4 meters. In this phase, approximately 2 million meter wire was consumed. Along with this, 2.5 million kilogram of cement was used. This phase took almost 12 years to complete. And by the end of 1996, this system was providing 2 million cubic meter water daily to Benghazi and Sirte, after which the plan for phase 2 was executed, under which the pipeline network was spread in the western part of Libya in the city of Tripoli. It was completed till the year 2000. Phase 2 also provides approximately 1 million cubic meter water to its residents. After phase 2, phase 3 was completed by the end of 2009, in which new pipeline was added to the existing line of phase 1. But this huge progress was not easily digestible by NATO, because on 22 July 2011, NATO forces deployed their jet fighters to attack Braga plant, where major portion of pipe sections were manufactured. But since that day, NATO forces denied their involvement in this operation. But this lie of NATO backfired them, and on 24th of July 2011, in a press conference, NATO agreed that the attack was done by one of their air fighters.
Today, NATO struck several command and control nodes in the vicinity of Braga. Pro-Gaddafi forces had occupied several buildings in an abandoned, built-up area of Braga and used them as military compounds.
So you can clearly see in the video, the major part of the plant's main building has been destroyed. The vehicle on which the pipes were transported were also set to fire. Apart from that, 6 innocent security guards were also sent to heaven. To justify this attack, NATO propagated that they were getting some intel from their sources that pro-Gaddafi forces were using Braga plant as a military storage facility. And to prove this, NATO provided 2 images of BM-21 MRL. But the shocking part was that both the images were of the same BM-21 MRL. In another press conference, NATO produced 2 slides. In slide 1, you can see a BM-21 MRL. But slide 2 is really interesting because in this you can easily notice that around a BM-21 MRL there are a few airstrikes. On the other side, the main building is completely blown away, which clears the hidden intention of the attack. NATO's first priority was to destroy the main building and not the arms. Many geopolitical experts believe that this was not just for pro-Gaddafi forces, but many powerful organizations of the world did not want this project to be completed, and the reason behind their claim is mind-boggling. There were only 2 plants where the construction pipe could be manufactured. First was the SAHARA plant, which was smaller in capacity and the hometown of Muammar Gaddafi. The second one was largest plant in terms of manufacturing capacity. It was the Braga plant, where the airstrike was held. Here, more than 60 units of pipe sections were produced in a single day, which was crucial for the project. So, this clearly means if someone wants to halt the Great Man-Made River project, then Braga plant would have been the best target for it. And maybe this was the reason why it was attacked. But unfortunately, the president of Libya and the torchbearer of the project was executed. Since then, Libya is facing a never-ending phase of civil war, as a result of which Phase 4 and Phase 5 were never thought of, and there is no hope for the future. So before ending this video, let's just quickly discuss the reason for the failure of this project. The project was initiated with great zeal, but with time, Libyan government lost their interest in this, followed by the second reason. That is, the water which was extracted had issues with its quality. Some researchers showed that the water have elevated concentrations of minerals like calcium, sodium and magnesium. Apart from that, the extraction well had also depleted the water level in the aquifer unexpectedly soon. And at the end of the day, this project was really cost inefficient. But civil war was the real culprit for the death of this glorious project, which would have changed the life of 7 million people. If you admire our work, then please do like it, comment and subscribe our channel. Thank you.